Hello everybody, this is Michael Cachoian, live from Charlton, New York, August 3rd, 2017, and today I'm going to be talking about Adele. As most of you may know, she retired from touring about a month ago. Her original last show was going to be July 2nd, but she decided to cancel the last few shows because she wanted to end it a little bit early. Now, her career has only been about 10 years now. 2008 was her first record. She's released 3 critically acclaimed records. We have 19, which was released in 2008, 21 was released in 2011, and the most recent 25 was released in 2015, which became the fastest selling album of all time. Sold, I believe it was 1.2 million copies in the first week, which is an all-time record. It beat NSYNC's No Strings Attached, which was released in 2000, which sold about 1.1 million. Now, a lot of you may be asking, oh, Adele, she's so young, she's not even 30, she'll be 30 next year, and she's only been a musician for 10 years about. Why is she retiring? Well, some of you may already know that she decided to retire because she didn't really feel like touring was really her forte. She didn't enjoy it as much. I apologize that I misspoke a little bit. She's not full-fledged retiring, but she's stopping her touring, which, can bring a lot of revenue. She sold 100 million records, and that's not including touring, merchandise, radio use, synchronization, all that kind of stuff, etc., etc. She just feels that she doesn't want to do it anymore, which is fine. A lot of people, though, are fairly critical of what she's doing because she's so young, and I know a lot of you also are probably thinking that, you go to one of her concerts, and she's not the type of artist that when you just go to a concert and you get shit-faced and just act like an idiot. She's not that type of person. She's a pop, soul, R&B kind of artist, and that's not generally my forte or my preferred choice of genre, though I do like it. I know I'm more of a rock guy, but I don't dislike those genres, nor do I dislike her. She's a very good singer. She's very talented. I know a lot of people criticize her because she's from the UK. She's heavy. She wears these massive coats, something of that nature, stuff on Twitter that she tweets every hour or something ridiculous like that. And which is totally fine, and I'm totally for that. So let's go into her albums. Her first album was released in 2008. It did receive some critical attention, but it wasn't really until 21, which was the second album, released 3 years later. It included the hit Rolling in the Deep, Someone Like You, Set Fire to the Rain, Rumor Has It, and it has sold 14 million copies just in America, and I believe 31 million worldwide, which is incredible news. I mean, we're not living in the 70s and 80s anymore. Acts like, Poison or Van Halen, that they got those sales because there was absolutely no other way of acquiring the music but to go out and buy the CD. So she's accumulated that through both physical sales and digital sales. But to have that many copies sold in just 1 week is unheard of in 2015 or 2011. So she has made history. Will she still be relevant in 10 years? Sure. If she released an album in 10 years, will she be what she was now or what she was a few years ago? Probably not. Because with a lot of records, when you give a gap of, say, 5 years, 4 years even, or more, it's a long time because pop culture changes all the time, and we're in 2017 now. Pop culture is changing, every 6 months. it's rapidly changing, and what the number one song was, a month and a half ago is not the number one song anymore. People change, people move on. Back in the 70s and 80s, these kind of things were more steady. They worked over a longer period of time, and especially when we would go back to the 80s and 90s, when grunge was coming along, and the classic rock, that we'll dub it classic rock, that was getting pummeled the shit out of by the time the 90s hit, it made it pretty much obsolete. I even have some of that stuff as a musician myself. There were times that, I was making music and people's tastes were changing, and they're like, oh, get off the stage, man. Get off the stage. I don't like you unless you can dance, or you're wearing a bow tie, or you shave your head like Pitbull, or that kind of stuff. But when it comes to Adele, she has very accessible genres. She's not just a fad. She will still be relevant in 10 years. But she may not be what she was. Because even I remember when her first album came out, the second album came out, which was 2011. I was in high school. I just finished high school. And then a couple years later, I was in college, and I was thinking, what happened to Adele? I haven't heard from her in 2 years, or more or less. Just like she only released one song in that 2-year time, and that was in that James Bond Skyfall movie. So she was pretty inactive between her albums. So between 2008 and 2011, and then between 2011 and 2015, she wasn't really doing that much. But that's fine. She doesn't have to be doing that much. But generally, when it comes to an artist like her, she's pop, she's R&B, she's soul. A lot of people in their 50s and 60s like that, because it reminds them of the time when R&B was popular in the 70s. And it's very similar to that. And her music is a very different flair. It's not like One Direction, they're a boy band, or Haley Steinfeld, who is just another pop artist, or even like a Justin Bieber. She's a lot more unique than those three. She has the voice. She has a good voice. Very soulful. Very inviting. People want to go see her at the concert because she attracts the fans that are not going to rail. So that's cool. And I know I sound like, ooh, this is so weird. I'm using, oh, that's cool so much. But in a way, she's doing a very good job. And she's already made history. She's had 2 albums out of 3 that have already achieved diamond status. Most bands have to work at least 10 years before, at least 10, 15 years before they can even get another album of that certification. Like, it even took Van Halen 6 years to get that second diamond album. Excuse me, more than that. It took them 21 years to get 2 diamond certified albums. She's gotten 2 diamond certified albums in only 6 years because she is a lot more accessible than a lot of artists today. She's not a standard pop artist. So it works. And if you wanted to ask me, in my opinion, is her music going to be remembered by if she were to quit tomorrow? And my answer would be yes, of course. If I quit tomorrow, my music's still going to be remembered. Some people may forget it, but you're always going to remember, oh yeah, that Adele, she wrote that song, Rolling in the Deep, years ago, and it was on the radio all the time. Then she had that other one with Hello. It's like we can always remember her voice. I mean, like, hello, it's me. I was wondering if after all these years, if you would like me to go over everything. I mean, we're always going to remember the way she sounds. She's not, my dad used to make the joke like, oh yeah, that Adele, this girl is on fire, and everyone would burst out laughing because that's not Adele. But my aunt is a big fan of Adele. So, yes, she's going to stay relevant. Does she have the moxie to continue? Yeah, she's only 29 years old. She's going to continue. Now, if you have any comments about this, you can put it on the Facebook feed. Like, comment, I'll answer it. Your thoughts about the subject. So basically, the main questions are, 1, will she be relevant in 10 years? 2, if she released a new album, say in 2022, 2023, so a few years from now, would she still get the critical acclaim she got the last 2 albums? And the third question would be, do you like her? Is she not just an arrogant Brit? Is she not just a little chunky? Does she not just wear massive coats? I want your opinions. So like, comment, put it on the feed. I'll read it. I'll respond to it. Thank you guys for listening, and have a good summer day.